Hello and welcome to this spotlight episode on the Sezanne, the long boiler locomotive which became the first oil burner in Europe. Sezanne was built to Robert Stephenson's patent long boiler design by Alfred Alette et Compagnie in Arras in northern France, a beautiful city perhaps better known for its role in the First World War. Sezanne was one of an order of 16 222 long boiler passenger locomotives ordered for the Chemin de Fer de Montereau à Troyes, a 100-kilometre long route along the River Seine, which opened in sections between 1847 and 1848. She differs from her cousin L'Aigle, who we have looked at in her own video, in not using Stephenson link valve gear. Instead, she uses 3 eccentrics per cylinder, 2 for forward and back gear which drive gab valve gear, whilst the third eccentric gives motion to the separate cut-off or riding valves in order to shorten or lengthen the cut-off, a far more complicated way of doing things than Stephenson link, but one that was very popular at the time in North America. Originally given the running number 5, the Chemin de Fer de Montereau à Troyes became part of the Chemin de Fer de Paris à Strasbourg in 1853, and she was renumbered 291. During the following year, the Chemin de Fer de Paris à Strasbourg became part of the Chemin de Fer de Est or French Eastern Railway upon its formation as part of the grouping of French railway companies into the Big Six, presaging a similar event in Britain by some 69 years. During 1868, Monsieur Henri-Étienne Saint-Clair-Davy used Sezanne as a testbed for oil-burning apparatus in locomotives. French railways, unlike those in Britain at the time, were still burning coke, which was more expensive than coal, and most of which had to be imported from Britain. Therefore, it was hoped oil burning would be a way forward for the French railways and reduce reliance on expensive imported coke. Sezanne was modified by being fitted with a steel firebox, probably a first, and the oil was distributed in the firebox through a vertical grill at each side before being vaporized and burned. The tender was duly converted to carry oil and water. The bottom of the firebox was built up as a brick arch, which was faced over with refractory brick. On a trial, Sezanne made plentiful steam with very little smoke. She was found capable of moving a 90 metric ton train whilst maintaining a steady 60 kilometres per hour. A very special demonstration run was made on the 6th of September 1868 with the Emperor Napoleon III present for the trials. A trial run was made between the camp of Chalons and Mourmelon, and the results showed, quote, a degree of heat control which was impossible with coke, end quote. The fireman was, quote, better able to control the amount of steam lost through the safety valves, end quote, and there was, quote, an almost total lack of smoke. The train arrived at Mourmelon station ahead of time, and many passengers were amazed to see the Emperor Napoleon III himself on the footplate. The Emperor apparently enjoyed himself immensely, and rewarded the locomotive crew with small purses of gold coins. Due to the cost of mineral oil being equal to, or if not higher than coke, however, the oil-burning gear was subsequently removed. Sezanne was retired from frontline service in the May of 1871, but was retained as a mobile boiler before being used as a stationary boiler at the railway workshops at Epernay. In 1926, the Chemin de Fer de Est restored, quote-unquote, Sezanne to her 1847 appearance, and had the bright idea of putting her on display at the new Gare de l'Est in Paris, but instead the Crampton Le Continent was chosen for display instead. She therefore remained stored for many years until being put on permanent public display at the French National Railway Museum in 1969. So that's been a quick look at the Sezanne, the second oldest surviving Stephenson long boiler locomotive, a locomotive built in France, and which became an important testbed in the quest to find alternative fuel sources for the railways other than coal or coke. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please show your appreciation by liking, sharing and subscribing. If you would like early access to channel content, you can do so by supporting Rail Story on Patreon. And I look forward to seeing you all next time on Rail Story.